They should be able to hear us. So we're about to start.
Okay, good morning. My name is Pete Freeman. I will be the acting chair today. To my left is Mr. Tillis. To my right is Ms. Stapleton. We will comprise your panel today. With staff at headquarters, please introduce yourself. Jalen Cavalier. Okay, do you have anybody? I see that. With the gentleman behind you, please introduce yourself.
Lieutenant Todd Roberts, security.
Warden Jason Burns, Steve Oil Program.
Okay, I thank y'all for having us today. Gentlemen, is there anything that y'all would like to tell us about Mr. Basco?
Mr. Basco has had a couple of disciplinary reports. I don't know if you have those.
Yes, sir, I do.
Wasn't sure if that was the reason to start this or not.
Yeah, that is. What happened? You got in a fight?
Yes, sir.
More than one?
No, sir, just one.
Okay. So that got you put out of the what? The ship shop program. Mr. Burns, tell us about the status of that.
You know, so he's been participating in the program.
Oh, he's back in the program?
No, sir. No, sir. He was before the incident. He was participating, taking his classes, and the incident got him removed from treatment. But before the incident, he was participating.
Okay, and how long was he there before the incident?
2 months, is that correct?
4.
4 months, 4 months.
So he had 4 months of treatment. What you fighting for, man? You got a big break. I mean, come on.
The guy,
That position.
I chose the wrong friend, man, and I fell back from him, and he spit in my face, and we started fighting.
Let's see, what was the reason we put you there? Do you remember? What kind of violation you had that we sent you there for substance
I
abuse?
violated the restraining order.
A restraining order. Yeah, I remember now.
Yes, sir.
Here it is right here. Violated protective order on 10/9/24 in which you subsequently arrested by rapid sheriff. Mr. Burns, I know I'm putting you on the spot, but do you think that was long enough treatment or what? Because I can't let him out there if I think he may be a threat to society.
Well, no, sir. We definitely needed him in there for 6 months to finish everything. I'm not sure. Had you started domestic violence yet?
No, sir.
Yeah. So he was about getting really close to start his domestic violence class, which he needed.
That's what we need. And there's no way we can recycle him. This is it.
Well, that's up to y'all, sir. If you want to give him another shot.
I would like to if you do it for me.
So do you want to start him over again?
No, sir. No, sir. I want to start him up wherever you were at the end. Look, I'm going to tell you, man, you get a write-up on Mr. Burns. If he gives you any problem,
Yes, sir.
let us know, man. We're going to revoke you and you can do your time, okay?
Okay, so were you going to start me up where I was?
We'll get with you. We'll work on your.
Wherever they start, you be happy because the other alternative isn't real good. But my board members also have to vote on this. I'm ready to vote. Is the panel ready to vote?
Yes.
My vote today is to not revoke and recycle him through the program. And Mr. Burns, I really appreciate this. And I can tell you, Mr. Basco, better make it. All right. Tillis?
My vote also is to do not revoke, so we'll give you another shot.
And Ms.
And I concur with my colleagues.
Okay, good luck to you, man. Thank you very much, Mr. Burns.
Sure.
Signing off at, Bossier at 8:57. Morning. Okay, good morning. Parole board's called back to order. We are now at St. John Baptist Detention Center. We're here for a revocation hearing on Kennedy Jackson. Mr. Jackson, state your name and DLC number for the record. You're on mute. You're on mute. Hey, sir, before you leave, I'd like to get your name, please.
He's on mute. You can't hear
You're
him.
still on mute. Oh, so he didn't know how to take it off of you.
Yes, sir, you can hear us now? Where did it? Where it went? Oh, there you go.
I think we can hear y'all now.
I can hear us now?
Yes, Mr. Jackson, state your name and DLC number.
My name is Kennedy Jackson, 297999.
Corporal
Okay.
Clark Smith, St. John Sheriff's Office.
Okay, Mr. Smith, do you have anything to tell us about Mr. Jackson? Any problems since he's been in there?
No, sir, no problem since he's been in here.
Okay, we needed to know. Okay, Mr. Jackson, do you have your parole questionnaire with you? We'll put one up on the, is that the paper where you realize you're not eligible for an attorney?
I'm not eligible.
No, you're not eligible for an attorney. If you want an attorney, you'd have to pay for one.
Okay, well, I'll pay for one.
Okay, so you don't want to proceed today? You'd rather get an attorney?
Yes, because I still have 2 open charges.
Oh, that's better anyway, because if you got 2 open charges, we want them disposed before you come.
Okay.
So, as per the offender's request, we're gonna continue this hearing if it's okay with my colleagues.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's take a vote. My vote is to continue the hearing till said charges are disposed and subject hires his own attorney.
I concur.
And Ms. Stapleton.
And I concur also.
Okay, we'll get back with you as soon as your charges are finished.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Good luck.
You sign it off.
Signing off. 9:10. Okay, Mr. Davis, would you state your name and DOC number for the record? Unmute.
Adrian Davis, 580966.
Okay, ma'am, would you state your name, please, for the record?
Yes, Deputy Jennifer Exnicious.
Okay, and do you, have any comments on Mr. Davis since he's been there?
No, we haven't had any issues.
Okay. All right, Mr. Davis, do you have your parole questionnaire with you?
No, sir.
I tried to print it out, but I could not locate it.
That's okay, we'll put it on the, board. Okay, is that your name at the bottom, Mr. Davis?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you realize you're not eligible for appointed counsel, that if you wish to have counsel, you needed to hire them?
No, sir.
Okay. You ready to proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Mr. Davis, looks like that, your violation is that you were sent to work release in lieu of revocation and you got removed because of rule violation number 28. Tell me what happened.
Your guess is as good as mine because I was most definitely following every rule. I knew I had 2 months left, so I was making sure I ain't make no mistakes. So it was a shock to me when they told me that I was being removed. I asked to speak to Mr. Jonathan Angle. He didn't want to speak to me. I don't know what none of it was really about. I couldn't tell you, but the last job that I was at, they said I was the lady or something. They wanted me to be they said she just didn't want me to come back or something. But a lot of the people before I even went to the job had warned me already, you know, how the situation was. And I was like, we'll be all right because I'm pretty good with people and I don't let nothing really bother me like that. So I don't know what all that was about, but I didn't get it. I really don't know. I really don't have a clue why they kicked me out of the program.
Okay, well, I got a little clue for you. The employer stated that Mr. Davis is extremely disrespectful to her,
Nope.
frequently responding with back talk or argumentative remarks whenever he is instructed to complete a task.
Okay, look, no, sir, that's not true. Anything she asked me to do, I did it. I'm trying to do the work. She trying to push me out the way and rush to do the work, saying I'm not doing it right and all that. But I didn't let none of that bother me. I continued to work as she asked me to do. So I don't know. I mean, I really don't know.
Gotcha. Okay. Board has any questions?
I don't have any questions.
Okay. Okay, panel's ready to vote. Mr. Davis, leave us very little option. Subject was removed from work release after being ordered to go there in lieu of revocation. So we are going to rescind that order and revoke. My vote today is to revoke. Mr. Tillers
My vote also is to revoke.
and Ms. Stapleton.
Mine is to revoke under the same reasons.
Okay, good luck to you.
All right, yeah, we'll go.
Signing off, LaFourche Parish.
All right, so I signed something. What I got going here? Is it? Yes, ma'am. Let it roll?
Okay, good morning. Parole Board's called back to order. It's 9:38. My name is Pete Freeman. I'm the acting chair. To my left is Mr. Tillis. To my right is Ms. Stapleton. Will be your panel today. Would you please introduce yourself and state your DOC number?
My name's Jennifer Irwin, 604-925.
Okay. All right, and is there anybody in there with you, Ms. Irwin?
Yes, sir, we got it.
Good morning, it's Deputy Marchand.
How you doing, Deputy Marchand? Thanks for hosting us today. Do you have any comments on Ms. Irwin?
Miss Irwin is always, whenever she comes here, one of our warehouse trustees. Deputy Cobb works back there. She always selects her by name, and every time she come here, she's just one of our better workers, and no incidents, no complaints at all.
Now, Ms. Irwin, that sounds great, but the problem is they know you good. That's not too great.
Right.
Okay, Ms. Irwin, do you have your parole questionnaire with you?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, you signed it. You realize you're not eligible for appointed counsel. If you wanted it, you'd have to hire.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you want to proceed today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Irwin, your case has been assigned to Mr. Tillis. He's gonna read the conditions that you are alleged to violate. You can plead guilty, not guilty, with a statement for each. And then the panel can ask you questions, and Mr. Tillis will be the lead on this case.
Good morning, Ms. Jennifer. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good.
You violated rule number 4. You were arrested on 8/15/2024 by what's that? Parish. Yes, sir. Parish is
Ouachita.
Ouachita Parish Sheriff's Office for domestic abuse, battery, aggravated. On 8/7/2025, the district attorney's office dismissed the charges. How do you plead guilty, not guilty, or with the statement?
Not guilty.
Not guilty?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you want to talk about it? Explain why you feel you're not guilty on that charge?
Yes, sir. Basically, it was a misunderstanding. Me and my boyfriend got into an argument or whatever. The statement in the report that they wrote, a lot of that was not true. My ex-boyfriend, well, he's now an ex-boyfriend, he went up there and did a statement saying, you know, that basically he got mad and just wanted me to come to jail, that he basically lied about what happened. And me getting my finger cut with a spatula that I had in my hand that he yanked out of my hand, and my finger ended up getting cut on it because he was yanking it out of my hand, is how that happened. And that's basically all that happened, really.
How did he get cut?
I really don't know the answer to that, but I'm assuming when he was yanking the spatula out of my hand, he had like a scratch on his finger. It could have been my fingernail. It could have been anything. I don't really know what that was about.
And you're saying that this was just a minor incident?
Yes, sir.
Who called the police? You did or he did?
I'm assuming his dad did. Yeah.
Okay. You know, with situations like this, sometimes people feel that they're minor, and then a couple of days later, somebody gets hurt seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the problem I'm having. Okay. Anyone else have any more questions?
I have another question. If witnesses say you were the aggressor, what were you mad about?
Well, it was 4 o'clock in the morning. He woke me up out of bed. He stayed out all night long. And basically I got mad at him for being out all night, running the streets with whoever, coming home at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
And we got to an argument, and I was trying to get him. He went up to the house to where his dad was, because we were staying in a little building behind the house. And he went back up to the house, and I was trying to get him to come back to bed because it's 4 o'clock in the morning. And he was still wanting to run around. You know, I was ready to go to bed.
Okay. Ms. Stapleton, you have any?
No, it just sounds like, you were really angry and, because you didn't like him being with other women, and that a lot of times leads to people getting hurt. That's what it sounds like here. So I don't have any other questions.
Okay. Violation number 5, according to the report listed on the Ouachita Parish Correctional Center website during the physical altercation, ERWIN obtained well, we said that. So you plead the same as that one?
Yes, sir, not guilty.
Okay. Rule number 10, you are currently in the arrear of $238 toward your supervision fees. Your last payment was made on 5/25/24 in the amount of $79. How do you plead?
I'm gonna plead guilty to that with the statement.
Yes, go ahead.
Only reason why I was getting behind on my fees is because I lost my job. I just got a work release. I just got me a brand new apartment and stuff, and I was trying to get back on my feet a little bit, and I ended up losing my job. And ended up losing my apartment, and I just got behind.
What were you in work release for? Was that part of your sentence or was that due to a revocation hearing?
That was what was I here for? That was part of my parole that I was on before.
Okay, so before you got out, they sent you those, you went from jail to work release is what I'm
Yes,
asking?
sir.
Okay.
Yes, I was doing, yes.
Okay, so it's part of your sentence. Okay.
Any more questions?
I have no questions.
I'm ready to vote.
Okay.
Miss Jennifer, due to the violations 4 and 5, my vote today is going to be to revoke.
Ms. Stapleton?
Yes, conditions 4 and 5, and you are a third-class offender, so you do know how important it is to stay out of trouble.
And my vote's gonna be the same, 4 and 5. We can find you guilty or not guilty with number 10, but that's still, today your parole has been revoked. Good luck to you.
Thank you. Yeah, that was gonna have it.
for the application hearing on Jared Martinez. Mr. Martinez, please state your name and DLC number for the record.
Jared Martinez, 764-333.
Okay, is there anybody in there with you?
Hey, good morning again, it's Deputy Marchand.
Okay, Mr. Marchand, any comments on, Mr. Martinez?
No, sir, no incidents, no disciplinaries, and he's currently a trustee in our kitchen with us.
Okay. Mr. Martinez, do you have your parole questionnaire with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you understand it and realize that you're not eligible for appointed counsel?
Yes, sir.
You want to proceed today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, your case was assigned to Mr. Tillis. So Mr. Tillis is going to read your violations. You can plead guilty or not guilty with a statement, and we'll ask questions as we go. Okay, Mr. Tillis.
Good morning, Mr. Martinez.
Morning.
How are you?
Not too bad.
Okay, good. You violated rule number 4. You were arrested on 8/1/17/25 by the West Monroe Police Department for domestic abuse battery and domestic abuse battery child endangerment. On 8/28/2025, prosecutions declined due to insufficient evidence of battery occurring, and victims had requested charges be dropped and deny anything happened. How do you plead?
Well, to the affidavit, I know that they declined the charges, but
I didn't plead charge though.
to not guilty.
Okay.
Okay, you want to make a statement with it or what?
Yes, sir. On the affidavit, it say that her son had called away from Shreveport, and to be honest, it was just kind of like a big mix-up because it was just, I think he just misheard what was going on in the conversation, and it was kind of like I don't know the best way to, we was kind of like having like an adult encounter, I guess, and then he just kind of misheard what was going on and called the police, and so she went up there and tried to let them know all that stuff, and they dropped the charges right away. So, but I've been working, I've been doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, so I understood it's kind of the big mix-up, I guess.
Tell me what you and your friend, what happened? I mean, what was the misunderstanding that he?
That's why he kind of basically just heard us having kind of like an adult encounter and was on the phone, and so he called the police. So we didn't know what was going on. I was fixing to get in the shower and the police just walked in the house. I didn't know what was going on. And so she has like a skin condition on her face. It's called rosacea or whatever. And the victim is on here too. So she'll testify too if you need her to. But she has a skin condition. She turned in medical papers and stuff saying it's called rosacea or something like that. So she had to turn all that stuff in too. But that was what they saw whenever she come in, I guess.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I do. Who kicked in the door?
Our door is still messed up to this day right now, and she actually could show you probably on the thing right now where it's still messed up. It's I live there. I mean, I'm the one that pays everything there and all the bills and stuff. The doors has been messed up since we moved in. It used to be like a real estate building, and you can see it's still like that. It's just been messed up since it's an old house. So we have problems like with the flooring and stuff in there too. Like they're underneath the hot water heater. There's a hole down there and stuff like that. It's just like I said, it used to be a business, I guess, and we're just been trying to fix on them.
Got any other questions?
No.
Yeah, the door's been messed up. He didn't kick it in. And then another thing it says.
Right now, wait up. Okay, we have no more questions, so now you can.
Okay. The affidavit for the arrest warrant says that the officer observed the wife crying with the left side of her face red and swollen. Now, I know you're saying that's rosacea.
Yes, ma'am.
That doesn't swell your face up. And there was an 8-year-old daughter present. And you said that the son was on the phone with her and y'all were having some kind of adult thing going on. And from that, he drew the conclusion that she was being hurt. So how old is the son that's in Shreveport?
Oh, he's 18 now.
I mean, okay, so he was about 18 when this happened?
Yes, ma'am.
So what was he hearing that caused him to think something was going on, that his mother was in danger?
He said it sounded like she was being chased, but I mean, I guess I just assumed that she was out of breath. I guess I mean that's what he heard over the phone. So, and I mean, I guess he just heard the noises, and it says it's like I said, it sounded like she said she was being chased, but I mean, it didn't make any
All right,
sense.
and why would the law enforcement officer say that he observed her crying? That's not rosacea either.
No, no, ma'am. She actually, I mean, she has multiple conditions, stuff like that too. She has like Graves' disease, stuff like that, where she's been going to the doctor for that too, where her eyes water a lot, and I don't know if she turned in the medical papers for that too, but she her eyes water a lot. They say like when it's dry or whatever they do that, but it's this. I mean, and as far as my 8-year-old daughter being there, we just went and picked her up like right before this all had happened. So
Okay.
All right, okay, thank you.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, Miss Ashley Farmer, tell us what you want us to know about the subject.
I mean, basically what he's telling, my eyes water from Graves' disease. I have Graves' disease. And yeah, my whole face does swell up every now and then.
Well,
I mean, I got my
I'm gonna
papers
tell
in
you
the,
point blank. And it upsets me when I'm a chairman.
all
The
right.
cop said that was a fresh mark on your face. It was not from a condition.
No, sir.
Cop said your eye was swollen. The cop said you were crying. I mean, so you telling me it was just a little friendly argument?
We weren't arguing.
Okay.
I mean, the cop was sitting there trying to sit there and tell me that that he did something, but no, he didn't do nothing to me. We
Okay.
had just went and picked my daughter up in Monroe, and they saying Shreveport.
Okay. Okay. Y'all got any other questions? Is the panel ready to vote? Okay, case was assigned to Mr. Tillis. You can vote first.
My vote today is gonna be to revoke Mr. Martinez. I think the officers were pretty justifiable on what they wrote up.
Ms. Stapleton?
Yes, mine is also the same, to revoke, and it's based upon the arrest affidavit by the law enforcement officer, and they're pretty careful about things like that. So
Yeah. And I find you in violation of vote number 4. My vote is to revoke also. Your parole has been revoked. Good luck to you. We're signing out at Ouachita at 10:01. Okay, today we're here for the medical parole on Keith Jones, DOC number 104707. Mr. Jones is a second-class felony offender. He is serving a life sentence for the charges of aggravated crime against nature, first-degree robbery, and first-degree rape. Life. Sir, we're gonna play a video real quickly. We'd like, since Mr. Jones is too ill to be with us today, we want to show the interview that was held with him prior to this hearing.
Can y'all see from over there?
They go Bill.
Oh, yeah, you can see up there, yeah.
Having a little difficulty. We'll be right back. Cool. On the panel with me today is Mr. Tillis and Ms. Stapleton. My name's Pete Freeman. I'm the acting chair today. We're currently at Angola. Sir, would you tell us your name for the record?
Yes, sir. My name's Kyle Hardroder. I'm a nurse practitioner.
Okay, Mr. Hargrove, I'm gonna ask you the basic questions. Is there any chance whatsoever he's gonna recover?
He will not recover from his stroke deficits. He could improve his functional capacity with therapy and, rigorous therapy or something like that, but he's got deficits from his stroke, which is left-sided weakness, difficulty with speech, and difficulty swallowing. Those things are unlikely to get a lot better. What he could do is strengthen his good side. That would be the only possibility that I would know of, but he can walk very short distances. He uses a wheelchair if he has to go more than a few feet, at this time.
Is he still able to feed himself or go to the bathroom by himself?
Yes, sir.
And who's there with you, sir?
My name is Sandra Tyser. I'm one of the nurses. I'm actually gonna try and work with Villa if y'all grant him to find placement at Villa.
Okay, Villa would be a very, very good place for him if it is granted today.
And I'm saying.
Does he have any family or anything like that that's willing to take him? Probably not.
I don't think, from what I know of his family, I don't think they have the resources to be able to take care of him.
Okay.
And this is Sam McKay, Mental Health Director here at LSP. And to that same point, I was kind of going through his notes in preparation for today's hearing. And in his last note with this psych nurse practitioner, she noted that he has a sister who has a house with 2 men to take care of, so she doesn't mess with me anymore. So it seems like there appears to be some estrangement there. Either there is an unwillingness or inability to take care of him if released.
Yeah, it would be very hard to take care of him. Okay, I don't think we have any further questions. Y'all have any questions for the medical people, Ms. Stapleton?
No, and this was just for clarification, it was a brainstem stroke, correct?
That's correct. Yes.
So that's why it's affecting, you know, his mental capabilities and stuff like that.
Yeah, in 2023, he had that hospital stay, and it was not a typical stroke. They had trouble finding it at first, and then they diagnosed it as a brainstem stroke.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
No problem.
We also have here with us today Mr. Edward McGowan from the Orleans Parish DA's office. Would you get up there and tell us what you want to tell us, Mr. McGowan?
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming, by the way.
Well, thank you, and may it please the board. Edward McGowan, First Assistant for Orleans Parish District Attorney's Office. I appreciate the opportunity to speak today and register our office's opposition to the parole application, Ms. Jones. I'll make 3 separate but related points. First, I'd ask that y'all consider the gravity of the crime and the heinous nature of the violent attack that was perpetrated by Mr. Jones on the victim. These facts, an abduction and violent rape, are extraordinary. The seriousness of the crime of first degree now require life without parole as a mandatory sentence, and rightly so. And so we would ask that you consider that first and foremost in your determination on his application and hopefully in the eventual denial of it. I would also like to point out that you've seen the video of Mr. Jones, and while it may seem unrealistic that a victim may be concerned or traumatized by a release of Mr. Jones under these conditions as he presents on that video, the fact that her fear or anxiety may seem unrealistic does not make it unreal, right? The fear and the trauma that these victims endure for the rest of their lives is in fact quite real and is a direct result of the crime that the individual perpetrated on them. And so we should not be, I think, misled into thinking that just because he presents as perhaps feeble or lacking mobility, that his release and the technical possibility that they may come in contact would be any less traumatic for the victim.
There's no possibility they're going to come in contact. We'll assure that.
Understood. I would just like to emphasize that having had many of these conversations, and that's going to go into my last point, having had many of these conversations with victims who had endured this and similar violent attacks, that fear is in fact real, even though I can very often assure them of the same thing that you just articulated. But that fear is still very, very real. That harm is still very, very real.
Yes.
The final thing I'd like y'all to consider is a wider public safety concern that this application touches upon. Throughout the state, prosecutors, along with their victim witness advocates, encounter victims of horrible violence, and in this case, horrible sexual violence. And try to support them as they make the decision to participate in a prosecution and a process that is going to be lengthy and arduous. Years upon years sometimes of pretrial litigation and pretrial motions. A trial where the victim will then have to relive his or her most horrible experience and frankly be attacked yet again and be accused of lying or some other misdeed. And then the years of stress on an appeal that may inflict further uncertainty on the process. And in doing that, for a case like this, prosecutors are able to assure these victims that the law is life without parole and that life in Louisiana does in fact mean life. I've done that for many years of my career. I know my colleagues around the state do that on a regular basis in order to support these victims and encourage them to participate in the process and seek justice. And this is not a representation that we make for an armed robbery when we know it's going to be a series, a set of years. It's not a position that we would take for a car burglary, even for someone with a multiple bill, and that might be multiple billed and sent away for a long period of time. This is a very specific instance with a specific crime, which requires life without parole. And I would ask you all to consider, before you make an exception to that in this case, that decision may have ripple effects for prosecutors around the state as they have and as they do and as I do. And I speak with victims in these situations when they ask me fearfully, will he ever get out? Will he ever be released? And when I tell them the law says life without parole, the more exceptions we put onto that, the more difficult that conversation becomes for myself and our colleagues around the state. And I understand the concerns y'all have and the balance y'all have to strike, but in this particular case, I would ask that y'all consider those factors and deny his medical parole for those reasons. Before I yield the floor, I wanted to give y'all an opportunity to ask me any questions if you have.
I do.
Yes.
What I have found, and only since I've been on this board, is life without parole really doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't. So I wouldn't tell
and
any
don't tell them
client.
that. I mean, because I do have some DAs now that tell victims, we will give them that, but they can be a diminution in sentence and all that kind of stuff, and clemencies and all kind of stuff. So, that's an untrue statement nowadays. So, and that hurts victims. And I've been a victim advocate for 30 years. The second thing I'd like to say is this, that you could help me out with, is I noticed in her statement that she didn't have the ability to get help with counseling 30 years ago, when all this, or whenever this first happened. So now she can still go to the Crime Victims Reparations Board, even though it says a 1 year, that is consistently waived. I was on the board for 12 years and I've spoken to the now director too. So that's paid for through the Crime Victims Reparations Board. So please encourage her, because we did have a lady while I was on the board that the guy was getting out after 20 years. She felt safe as long as he was in there, like you just said. After 20 years, it was a rape victim and she was just losing it. And so at that point is when I fought for the fact that this is hogwash. She didn't need it back then. He was going away. Now she needs counseling though. And it was considered and everything goes through with no problems now. So please help her along with that. Through the Louisiana Commission on Law Enforcement, they know that, I'm going to be speaking to victims to try and encourage them if they didn't get crime victims reparations to seek it out. So that would help her. And also, you saw his condition. I feel like he is permanently disabled and not a risk to her. And we need to help her with that too.
Well, first of all, thank you for those comments, and I will say that, we certainly are more circumspect these days in terms of, communicating with victims of these crimes. Perhaps not so much so in 1986 or 87 when this victim was counseled, to participate. And I will also, I'll say thank you for the information regarding the
Victims reparations.
counseling and that. But again, understanding y'all's points, we do ask that y'all consider, declining the medical role and, would, also ask you to consider the impact it will have.
Yes, sir. We very much appreciate you coming today, sir. It means a lot to have you here.
Thank you again, and, I will yield the floor.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
I'm gonna move to an executive session.
I second.
So we can discuss some things. Okay, I got a motion in a second. Call roll.
Freeman.
Yes.
Bennington.
Yes.
Tillis.
Yes.
Okay, the parole board is called back into session at 10:45. Would you call roll, please?
Tillis,
Here.
Freeman.
Here. Yes.
Here.
Okay. All right, okay, I guess we've heard everything and seen everything. I didn't ask, but does the warden want to make any comments?
No, sir. This is Deputy Warden Ambo. I think medical handled everything that needed to be handled.
Thank you, Warden Am. Okay, I guess we have to vote, and the case is assigned to me, so I guess I've got to vote first. This is a real tough case. I mean, on one hand, this was a very egregious crime, very, senseless, and it caused a lot of pain. But the man is totally disabled. He can't function on his own. Probation and parole will be seeing him at the nursing home regularly. If he does improve, they will call and we will put him back in prison. And so my vote today is going to be to grant the medical parole. Mr. Tillis.
My vote too is to grant. I know it's very difficult, but he is incapacitated. So my vote today is to grant.
And Ms. Stapleton.
My vote today is to grant also based upon the fact that if he were to improve, he would go right back into prison again.
If he improved, they can put him back.
He would not be a threat to society.
No, he's not a threat to public.
And for that reason, he's totally disabled. It was a brainstem stroke. So I'm going to grant the medical parole. And if he improves, he'll go right back into DOC custody.
Okay. Okay, so Mr. Jones, your medical parole has been granted, and we appreciate the people that have spoken today. Okay, the Pro Board's back in session. We're still at Louisiana State Penitentiary. My name is Pete Freeman. I'm the acting chair. To my left is Mr. Tillis. To my right is Ms. Stapleton. Would staff at Angola please introduce yourself for the record?
Larry Bernard, DOC.
You say staff. Rochelle Apple, Deputy Warden.
Reginald Admiral, classification.
Carmen Shibley, Offender Records.
Okay, thank y'all for having us today. Now, sir, would you please introduce yourself, name and DOC number?
Yes, sir. Larry Bernard, DOC 108810.
Okay. All right, today we're gonna have your parole hearing. First, we'll let you explain things, what happened and why you think you should be let out today, and then we'll go to the people in favor and the people opposed. Your case has been assigned to Ms. Stapleton, so she will lead the interview once we get to that point. Okay, so first off, Mr. Bernard, tell me why you are in prison, why you have these sentences, and why you think you should be let out today.
I'm in prison for aggravated battery and a rape charge. The reason I think I should be out, I believe the parole board should grant me parole because the person who committed those crimes no longer exists. I am not the same person that I was then, and I deeply regret the pain and harm I have caused. From day one, I felt I deserved to be held accountable for my crimes. Furthermore, I willingly pleaded guilty to all my charges in order to accept the full punishment I owe for the harm I've caused to so many. Also, I did not want to waste any more of the state's money in court. I saw an opportunity to do the right thing, so I pleaded guilty in order to comfort my victims.
All right, and why do you think you're prepared to go today?
I think I'm prepared to go today because I participated in different programs since I've been incarcerated. And I feel as though that I'm no longer the same person. I'm better for society now than what I was. I'm rehabilitated, and I'm not the same person that I was 30 years ago when I was incarcerated. I'm older now. I realize I wasted more than half of my life doing what's wrong. And I think it's time for me to stay on the right track and do what's right, not only by man's will, but also by God's will. So now that I put God first in my life, I see that I'm a better person doing his will. So now I'm willing to abide by both laws, man's laws and God's laws.
Okay, I'm gonna put some information in the record. If you disagree with any of it, let me know. Today we'll have Larry Bernard, fourth felony offender who is serving 36 years for the offense of forcible rape, crime against nature, armed robbery, aggravated battery. He had a parole date. Your parole date is 10/27/21. And your full term date is 10/24/2031. That sounds correct, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, now we'll hear from Miss Kathy Park on your behalf. Miss Park. You're on mute, ma'am.
I'm sorry, my name is Amy Vandermolen. I was on, when I registered this morning, I was on my sister's computer and her name came up and I told the gentleman that at the time.
I'm sorry, ma'am. This is Miss Amy Vandermolen.
Correct, so I'm sorry, I was confusing.
Okay, well, tell us what you want us to know about Mr. Bernard.
I met him through my church up here in Chicago area a dozen years ago or so, more or less. And I've seen a great transformation just in the time that I've known him. I don't know about the years prior to that, but in the time I've known him, he's gone through a lot of different programs. He's signed up for his GED, not signed up, but he's in the process of getting his GED. He's been doing classes on that for quite a while. He's talked to me about his faith over the years. I've had the opportunity, since my church no longer visits Angola, I've had the opportunity to visit him as a visitor, come as a visitor. And he's always been very courteous and pleasant and well-mannered. And I've seen him respectful to the staff and the other inmates around him. I think he's ready. I mean, obviously it's not my call, but I think he's ready. And I think if given a chance, he might be able to do some good things with the life he has left.
Okay. Okay, thank you, ma'am. We appreciate you calling in. Okay, now we're gonna go to the opposition, Mr. Randy Myers, Assistant District Attorney in Jefferson Parish. Mr. Myers?
Good morning, Randall Myers, Assistant DA Jefferson. We are strongly opposed to his request for parole. He has an extensive and violent criminal record. There are, on his record, there was a Mississippi rape that occurred around the time of this armed robbery that was removed from the docket because he was serving such a long time in Jefferson, in custody in this case because of the crime in Jefferson Parish. He had a forcible rape in 2005, which he got time for, and he had a crime against nature, which another inmate alleged that was a rape, and he pled to crime against nature. His prior parole hearing, he was denied. The board said he needed to have sex offender treatment. He has continued to refuse to have sex offender treatment. He still has not had any sex offender treatment. He's had, I believe, 68 disciplinary reports, and I did not see any vocational skills that he has obtained from any programming while he's been incarcerated. So for those reasons, we are strongly opposed to his request for parole.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Myers. Okay, as I stated, your case was assigned to Ms. Stapleton. Ms. Stapleton, would you lead us in the question?
Yes, sir. I'm going to just go ahead and get right into it. Building off of what the DA's office said. First of all, you have strong law enforcement opposition with the AG's office, the DA, and the judge. And the judge has some responses. Interesting, since you said that you pled guilty to help your victims out. The defendant has not acknowledged responsibility and continues to file pleadings to overturn his plea. Are you doing that?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I thought you told us you took the time so that we could get this over with, so the victim could feel some relief.
That's what you said. You said that you pled guilty so the victim could feel relief and you could be shown to be accepting responsibility. But to be filing pleadings to overturn his plea is not the same thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
But there are discrepancies on the victim's part, which I filed to have it have the charges thrown out because on discrepancies on the victim part.
Okay, well, let's go from there. So while you're incarcerated, which would be, since you've learned your lesson and you're a man of God now and everything like that, why do you have 2 more rapes behind bars on people that did not want to be raped?
Well, I can say this here. If you notice, I pleaded no contender on one of the charges. I pleaded no contender for a lesser charge. At that time, I didn't exactly know what no contender meant until my attorney told me that it's to plead to a lesser charge. I pleaded that because actually it was consensual sex, but when the inmate was brought out that he had sex with me and he didn't want it to be brought out, then he actually claimed that I raped him. So what I did, I just pleaded guilty to no contender, so I wouldn't be charged with a stiffer crime charge. But actually,
Excuse me, go ahead.
So also what we have here is that you do have an extensive long violent criminal history.
Yes, ma'am.
All throughout your life and everything, and strong. Because of what's happened behind bars, I mean, you have a lot of disciplinary write-ups. You are a continued threat to public safety. We do have the 2 rapes. You say your side, they say their side, but you should have not done it because, you know, you've turned over a leaf. So, I don't have any other questions.
And you still hadn't done your sex offender treatment?
On a sex offender treatment, I actually don't recall somebody telling me to take a sex offender treatment. Had I would have recalled that or saw it, I would have taken a sex offender treatment. I don't recall anyone telling me to take a sex offender treatment.
Okay, all right. And it's, and I
Is
will.
that in the record?
Or you're a 3 on your static 99, which is a moderate risk to reoffend. You have any questions, Mr. Tillers?
Oh, no, you just asked the question that I wanted to know.
Okay.
So would you be willing to take some sexual classes?
I have no problem with that.
What do
Not at
y'all have
all.
classes there?
I'm willing to take any classes, whatever it takes for me to satisfy to give my victims some relief. Because it's not about me. I put them before me. It's about them.
That's the warden. Do they have those classes there?
I'm pretty sure they do. Warden Ambo, do y'all have sex offender treatment there?
Yes, sir.
I thought so. Okay.
Can you arrange for him to get those classes, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Is the panel ready to vote?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Stapleton.
Okay, I'm not gonna grant your parole request today. I see you as a continued threat to public safety, strong law enforcement opposition, and with your DA and the judge and the AG's office also. You have an extensive violent criminal history. So far, you have not gotten your sex offender classes, but I'm sure you're fixing to work on that. And you are 3 on a static 99, which is considered a moderate risk to reoffend.
Mr. Tillers.
My vote is to deny.
And my vote is the same for the same reasons as Ms. Stapleton stated. Today your parole has been denied, Mr. Monroe. Good luck to you.
One more question.
I'm gonna let you ask no more questions.
Okay, all right, we're back in session. We're still at Louisiana State Penitentiary. Once again, my name is Pete Freeman. I'm the acting chair. To my left is Mr. Tillis. To my right is Ms. Stapleton. First off, Danny, please state your name for the record, name and DLC number.
My name is Danny Broussard, 297872.
Okay. I'm gonna read some preliminary information, and if any of it's incorrect, you may stop me. This is just information for the record. Okay, Danny, you are a third felony offender. Your parole date was 8/1/21. You have a good time date of 7/11/2066 and a full term date of 7/6/67. You are serving 70 years for manslaughter and aggravated battery. Does that sound correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I see that you have counsel today. Ms. Hogan, you want to introduce yourself for the record?
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Jane Hogan on behalf of Danny Broussard, and I'll make a brief statement towards the end of the hearing with the committee's approval.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, and also we will have speaking on your behalf, Carrie Myers from the Parole Project. You have, I think they're all there. Mia Lowy, who is a friend, she will not be speaking. I know I probably mispronounced that. Darrell Walters, a friend, will be speaking. Harold Francis, your brother-in-law, will be speaking. Alicia Broussard, niece. Melody Francis, sister. Gabriel Broussard, niece. I know I butchered that bad. Your brother, sorry about that. And Keith Morris, your friend. So that they're all there with you at Angola. And in opposition, we have Mr. Felix Hampton, the victim's brother, and Tammy Jump from the second JDC Assistant District Attorney. So we're going to get to everyone at the proper time. So first off, Mr. Broussard, tell me, what did you do to get yourself put into this situation? And tell me, why do you think we should consider letting you out today?
Yes, sir. I would like to first thank the parole board for giving me the opportunity to publicly apologize to the Hampton and the McPeters family. It's not a day go by that I don't feel the shame and the remorse committing the crime of murder against Felicia. And I know I've caused a lot of pain and suffering to Felicia's family, and continuously caused them pain and suffering, even with this hearing. And for that, I'm so sorry. I'll be forever sorry. On the date, the evening of February 20th, 1997, I found out that my living girlfriend, Felicia, was with another man. And I was at home waiting for her to return so I could confront her. And as the time went by and the longer I waited for her to get back, it seemed like to fuel my anger and the betrayal I felt, combined with the alcohol and the drugs that I consumed earlier that day. Now, alcohol and the drugs doesn't justify my action. I want that to be known. So when Felicia finally arrived, I ran outside to confront her, and I ran to the car next, and the door was locked. She wouldn't get out. And after I asked her several times to get out, I ran to the porch. There was a toolbox sitting on the porch, and I opened it, and there was a helmet, and I grabbed it, and I ran back to the car, asking her to get out. And when she wouldn't, I buzzed the glass with the helmet. I swung it and buzzed the glass, and then I grabbed her, and I continued swinging, and I hit her in the head with the helmet. And then Gregory ran out, and I wound up hitting him. I hit him with the helmet. And then I grabbed Gregory and I walked him back to the house and told him to go. When I realized what I did, I walked him back to the house and told Gregory, go to your room. And when he did, I ran back to Felicia, grabbed her, I put her in the car, and I drove off. Now, I know I should have taken her to the hospital, but I didn't. I panicked and my emotions was all over the place. And before I knew it, I was in the town next to the one we was living. And I wound up parked in a park in that town. And I stayed in that park, and eventually I took Felicia out the car. I left her in the park with the car, and I roamed around until I turned myself in.
Okay. All right. All right, and like I said, Mr. Tillis will ask you more questions directly involving the case when it's his turn to interview you. So first, we're going to hear from Mr. Kerry Myers from the Parole Project.
Yes, good morning. Kerry Myers with Louisiana Parole Project. We're here to let the board know we've accepted Mr. Broussard as a client. Mr. Broussard has served right at 30 years on his sentence. He is a minimum A trustee. He's maintained that status since 2012. He's earned his GED. He's earned 465 days of CTRP credits. He's done extensive programming. He hasn't had a disciplinary infraction in 10 years. Since his last hearing, he's continued to do the things that he knows he needs to do for his own personal development. He didn't spiral. He's taken extensive programming since his last hearing, continues to be involved in AANA. We believe that Mr. Broussard has a high potential for success, and that is why we're here today. We also know that he has a long-term residence plan. He has beyond Parole Project. He has significant support systems, and that's critically important. While he has been incarcerated for 30 years, Parole Project will help him through this transition through our program. He'll have evaluations from our social workers and follow any recommendations. He'll have guidance in programming and technology and consumer skills, social skills, and the things that he literally needs to readjust after 30 years in prison. We believe Mr. Broussard is an excellent candidate, so we just ask this board to consider his outstanding record and grant his parole today.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Myers. Okay, Mr. Darrell Walters, a friend.
Yes, sir. Thanks for this opportunity to speak briefly on behalf of my friend, Danny Broussard. He and I have been friends for over 15 years. I actually was released from here in Angola in November of 2022. So I had a chance to actually walk with Mr. Broussard. I'm very, very familiar with his spiritual journey and his overall transformation. With Danny, some years ago before I left, he and I talked. And as I heard today, as we all heard, it's really difficult, of course, for him to speak about his crime and about the past. And I can remember encouraging him that he has to name what he's done. He has to expose it to the light. He has to be accountable for his actions, no matter how bad it seemed, how harmful it is to do so. I had to do it. It's part of the healing process. And so Danny embraced that, and he began to recount that event to me and to himself, and take the necessary steps in order for healing and repair. And Danny has done a great job with that. Of course, he has undergone programming that was necessary for that process. He's expressed a lot of remorse, and though he understands that he could never change what happened in the past, but he can effect a better future for himself. And so I'm just, asking the board to please give Danny this opportunity to be better and to do better. One other thing I would like to share with the board is as a testament to Danny's unselfish character. He came to me when I was here and he asked to be a reentry mentor in the reentry program here. And so when I appealed to those in charge, we discovered that there were no openings at the time. And so Danny wasn't discouraged by that. He told me that he really wanted to help the young guys who had been sentenced here to our program. And so Danny asked to volunteer to be an orderly, to actually clean up after the guys in the program, just to have an opportunity to speak to the young guys and to use his life as an example for them. And Danny is still doing that until this day. So he's just volunteering his services. So he is engaged in community service. And I can honestly say that I've seen so much development, so much growth in his life, spiritually, emotionally, otherwise. And I know that he is highly remorseful for what he has done. And I am confident that if he were to be granted an opportunity for parole, that he would do well. Recently, I helped to found a church in Baton Rouge, and Danny would definitely be welcome to attend. And I will continue to be a spiritual advisor, a mentor, a guide for Danny, and continuing our friendship to grow together with him. So thank you so much for this opportunity to speak.
All right, Mr. Walters, thank you for speaking. And Mr. Harold Francis, brother-in-law?
Yes, sir. Good morning, board members. My name is Harold Francis. Danny Broussard is my brother-in-law. I've been knowing him for over 35 years. He's come from a loving family who welcomed me into their family. Being in the family, I learned that Danny was a DJ. Music was his passion. Now, being in that life, there's drugs and alcohol. He got caught up in that. Abusing drugs was his downfall. Now, I can understand the family's hurt because it happened to me and my family. My sister was murdered. I was angry. I wanted revenge. But visiting Danny over the years, talking with him, helped me realize that revenge is not ours. It's for Jehovah, our God. So him being here helped me learn forgiveness. Coming here over the years, I've seen him accomplish a lot. He educated himself on the crime he committed. He came to understanding that he was completely wrong and accepted it. I've seen the change in him, within him. He accomplished a lot. One thing I love about Danny that he accomplished was that he found Jehovah God and asked for forgiveness. Upon getting out, he will reside with me and my wife, his sister, along with my grandson at our home. We will help him find work, help him do what's necessary for him to succeed at life. We trust and we feel that we can help him become a productive citizen. In conclusion, members of the board, from the Broussard family and myself, we are asking for mercy on your decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Francis. Appreciate you being here. Okay, Ms. Hogan, would you like to give us your presentation, please, ma'am?
Sure. Thank you for letting me speak. I know that this is a very difficult case and a very serious crime. And I know that at Mr. Broussard's last hearing in 2021, there was opposition, very vocal opposition to his release. The vision of this board, as enumerated on the website, is that this board believes in second chances that are guided by fairness, public safety, and the voices of victims. So while there is opposition to Mr. Broussard's release, there are also other components that are critical for evaluating whether he presents as a good risk to for release. Mr. Broussard was not sentenced to life without parole. He was not sentenced to death in prison. He was given a term of years. He pled guilty. He admitted what he had done. He pled guilty and he was given a 70-year sentence, which came to include parole eligibility. But Mr. Broussard's transformation began long before he was parole eligible pursuant to Act 122. If you look in the packet that I submitted, Mr. Broussard was, from the moment that he arrived, he was attending Catholic study sessions. He has been active for 2 decades in drug and alcohol abuse awareness courses and AA. He's currently in his 4th or 5th substance abuse program of Celebrate Recovery. He knew that he needed to come to prison, and he knew that there were things that he needed to address, and that the reform began when he didn't have any hope of release. And as Mr. Kerry Myers spoke and stated, after Mr. Broussard was denied parole in December of 2021, although he was denied by all members of the board, they noted the exceptional things that Mr. Broussard had done in prison. And even Ms. Jackson said, I'm not saying that you'll never get out of prison, but it's not today. And they all, Ms. Renatza and everyone, encouraged him to keep working. And since his last hearing, he's completed about 12 additional programs. He has 3 jobs. He's a full-time, he's in his final semester of the Bible College. He's orderly at the A building. He's a volunteer with the Reentry Club. He's taken victims awareness, accountability letter training, Malachi Dads, trauma healing. There's so many programs that he's completed just in the last few years. He was not discouraged, and he continued in his path. And he has a strong community support that would welcome him to his community, to their back home, if he is granted a second chance. So for these reasons, we would ask the board to evaluate everything about Mr. Broussard's character, what he's done with himself for the last 30 years, 29 years, and to grant his request for parole.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Hogan.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, now we're going to get to the victims, the opposition. Mr. Felix Hampton. You're on mute, Mr. Hampton.
What about now?
No, you're good now. Okay, Mr. Hampton, tell us what you want us to know.
What I want to say, board, first of all, I appreciate you guys giving the family an opportunity to speak. I've sit here and listened as quietly as I could to Danny Broussard's explanation of what happened that particular evening. And that is not what my nephew, who was 8 years old at that time, told me and my family. He never took him in the house and told him to go to his room, because my 8-year-old nephew was knocked out laying in the yard with a big hole in his head. He finally came to and staggered down to the neighbor's house and told them what happened. So that was completely what I just heard Danny Broussard say a few minutes ago. But neither, put it like this, I talked to my nephew about 2 weeks ago. He could not participate in this program. He said he did not want to see Danny Broussard, because Danny Broussard, according to my nephew and what he told me 2 weeks ago, he said that what occurred with him losing his mother at the age of 8 years old. My mother took him in, but his biological father lived in Arkansas, eventually got custody of him. And at the age of 8 years old, his biological father was an abusive guy. That's why him and my sister got divorced in the first place. We couldn't keep him from getting, because he was his biological father. He wouldn't get him no therapy, and this kid just watched this brutal man here kill his mother. And he said something about my sister, saying that he went to after he went to the house and took Gregory to the house. My nephew told me, and we seen the evidence, I had to go and identify her body. She had claw marks and chunks of skin out of both arms trying to cover up her head, besides a lick to her head. He threw her in the trunk of the car and drove her over to Webster Parish, threw her body out in a ditch like it was a piece of trash, and left my 8-year-old nephew laying on the ground with a hole in his head, bleeding, and almost bled to death. I had to leave my job. I'm on now. I've been here 37 years. Leave my job, working shift work at night, graveyard, and drive to LSU Shreveport, flying to get over there, because there was no one there with my nephew to take care of him. And this man gonna sit here. It's funny to me how when people get locked up, they get caught and get locked up, they find God and they find all kind of other things to help them to try to get out of jail as quick as possible. But he was a criminal before this even happened. This when his first dealing with the law. So no one can tell me that because he's been in there 30 years or however long he's been in there, that he's a stand-up citizen. Because my sister will never be able to walk out that graveyard and that cemetery that he put her in.
Okay.
And you want him to walk out of, he wants to walk out of here as if everything is cool because he spent a little time in jail. But he should get the whole 70 years that he got. Because my family is irreparably hurt. We will never get my sister back. My nephew went, it was 10 years before we could even see him. His father was so brutal. He got him at 8. It was 18 years when he turned 18, his graduation, before the family here was able to even go and see him. His father wouldn't let us even see him. He suffered to no end because of this man and what he done. And ain't nobody gonna tell me that, okay, that our pain and our hurt and all we went through in that little 30 years of him eating 3 square meals a day, a place to lay his head, that my tax dollar pay for. I've been working for a long time and I ain't never committed a crime. That ain't the way I live. So Mr. Myers, whoever he is, saying that, you know, he fit the mold. I don't care about none of what he fits. Because he had support before he did this. His family knew him, knew exactly what he was about. I see a bunch of people in there standing up, talking for him. But where y'all was when he was up here killing my sister?
Okay, you got to talk to us, Mr. Hampton, and would you please try to wrap it up for us, sir?
I will. But my point is that we don't never want to see him get out.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
I mean, that's a decision that you guys will make. But I only ask one thing. Y'all factor in what I just said. As far as my nephew, an 8-year-old child that he attempted to murder, left him laying in the yard to bleed out, thought he was dead. And if it had not been for my nephew, we would not have known what happened. But because he came to and staggered down the street, he was not inside of the house, as Mr. Broussard alleges. Because I just talked to my nephew 2 weeks ago and asked him about this very hearing. Did he want to participate? He said, he told me, Uncle, I can't see that man. So I still have nightmares about what he did to me and my mother, what he took from me, not being able to be raised by his mother. So you guys, it's up to y'all. But I'm just telling you, this man should never hit the ground again because he took too much. If it was some other kind of crime, well, my sister didn't die, okay, that's one thing. But when you take a life, the Bible says in the 10th commandment, thou shalt not kill. This man, and then he want to talk about the Bible now. But he did the very thing that the Bible says not to do. So no, I don't want to ever see him get his foot out from behind that cell bar. That's all I got to say.
All right.
I appreciate you guys hearing me out.
Thank you, Mr. Hampton. We appreciate you being on here. Okay, now we have Miss Tammy Jump. You don't look like Tammy Jump to me.
Me.
All right, Miss Jump.
Hey everyone, my name is Tammy Jump. I'm the first assistant district attorney for the 2nd JDC, which includes Bienville Parish. I've been the felony prosecutor here in Bienville for 25 years, and I actually testified at the last parole hearing, and I explained then that I was actually in law school when this murder happened, but I reviewed the file, and in reviewing the file, the one thing I took away from it was how violent and how senseless it was. I thankfully have not had to go to a scene like this since I've been working here. And I'm not going to get into the facts because both Mr. Broussard and Mr. Hampton have kind of talked about the facts, but I have to speak for Felicia and her son. And as Mr. Hampton said, her son is still suffering the consequences from this, as are the rest of her family. I always tell my victims it doesn't matter what you do. You don't deserve to be abused and certainly don't deserve to be killed. And Mr. Broussard does seem to have a little better attitude this time than he did in 2021 from the notes that I took from that hearing. But there still have to be consequences for actions. And it's kind of odd that we're having this hearing in October, which is the month that we set aside to raise awareness for domestic violence. And we train law enforcement and victims and the public to look for the signs. And Felicia is now one of those people that we light a candle for at our candlelight vigil every year. And we strive to keep this kind of crime from happening again. From what I can tell from the record, again, y'all have already said this, he was to receive a 70-year sentence. He's only served about 28, 29 of those years. We don't feel like at this point that's enough. So the district attorney's office would strongly oppose him being paroled at this time. And I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to speak.
Okay, Ms. Jump, thank you for appearing today. Okay, your case has been assigned to Mr. Broussard. To Mr. Tillis.
Check the warden.
Warden, do you have any comments on Mr. Broussard?
I have something to say, even though everybody else has went through everything that probably, that I have the same thing that they do, but just to add on to that, Mr. Broussard is a very hard worker here. He's very respectable. He actually sets up this parole board room for us when we get ready to have it. He's a good offender. That's it.
All right. Thank you, Warden. Okay, now the case has been assigned to Mr. Tillis. Mr. Tillis, would you lead us in the question?
Good morning, Mr. Broussard. How are you?
Doing all right, sir.
I listened to your statement and I read through your file and you elaborated a lot on what the file said. Did you honestly turn yourself in?
Yes, I did, yes, I did, sir. I didn't resist when the cop came. I threw my hands up and I didn't deny who I was, because I remember him asking me who I was. I told him who I was, and I went up, got arrested.
So you didn't take yourself down to the office? You mean they came?
I
and
didn't
you up?
go. Yes, sir. That is correct.
Yeah, I thought you meant you took yourself down to be arrested. I see you've been taking a lot of classes and a lot of courses since you've been incarcerated. Well, you've been there, what, 27 years, 28?
28, almost 29, sir.
Almost 29. Okay, I have no more questions.
Okay, I just have a couple. You had some, looks like you had some problems when you were on supervision before. What can you tell me about that? Well, how can I be assured we won't have these same problems?
Well, Mr. Freeman, prior to me picking up this charge, I've had serious drug addiction. I was a drug addict, and the crimes that I committed was to support my habit. And the times that I stayed in jail was, the first sentence I think was 9 months, and the second was 18 months. And I was walking in denial. Every time I got in, I thought, I didn't have no programming at the parish jail. I did the 9 months and I did 18 months at the detention center where there was no program in place like they have here in Angola to address my drug addictions. So, and at that time, I normalized my addiction and my destructive behavior. So when I walked out, I easily relapsed. But now, the 28 and a half, 29 years in here, I had a lot of time to educate myself with the programs that this place has in place, combined with my faith. And I understand through the victim awareness and the various drug addiction classes I took.
About victim awareness, what did you get out of that? That was going to be my next question.
Well, victim awareness was one of the class that stands out to me the most, because it gave me a deeper understanding of the pain I've caused Felicia's family. It allowed me to put my foot in the shoe, or myself, excuse me, in the shoes of what her family feels. And I understand, the pain I've caused. I understand how the responsibility and accountability through awareness.
I have no further questions. Ms. Stapleton?
Okay, it just came to mind now, victim awareness. So you've heard about the grief of the child. What
Yes,
would you
ma'am.
describe to me as what you think that child's thinking all these years?
I can imagine the trauma that I caused him. I can imagine him. It's every day I think about him, me depriving him from growing up without his mother, and the pain that comes from that.
Let me ask you this. At first when you gave your statement, you said you used a piece of wood on Felicia. And then you just finished saying, and you might have corrected this later also on many occasions, but you did say that you passed by a toolbox and you saw the hammer. And so that's different from the interview statement where you said you used wood. And then it was at the hospital that the child's injury, the hospital said that it was consistent with a claw hammer used on the child's head. And then when you did that, even the statement that you just now said that you told him to go inside the house, you left a child that you hit in the head with a claw hammer really to die.
Well, at the time when I gave my initial statement 28 and a half years ago, I was so emotionally unraveled. I wasn't a good person back then, and all I know is I admitted to what I've done, and what the record reflects now is correct. As years went by and I came to grips of what I've done, I realized, that what it was, but at the time, Ms. Stapleton, I was, my initial statement, I was just so emotionally and I was messed up. I was out of my mind at the time.
Okay, and then you do have an extensive criminal history of violence that is present in numerous states, not just the state of Louisiana. So it passes over a period of time, these crimes of violence concerning you. I don't have any other questions.
Mr. Broussard, were you going to say something, attorney?
I was going to mention, I'm not sure whether my understanding of Mr. Broussard's record is that he does have a lot of other arrests, but I don't know of any other crimes of violence that he was arrested for. So I don't know, but I'm not trying to correct the board.
Okay.
I just wanted to.
Mr. Broussard, did you walk the child back into the room as you first said, or the child was knocked out, lying on you left him on the ground?
Mr. Tillers, I walked him back. He wasn't knocked out on the ground. I walked him back to the door and I told him to go back in the house.
Okay.
When it first happened.
I read your statement. Why did you kill her? Why did you kill her?
Why? I've asked myself this, man, over and over. It's not every day for the last 20 plus years. Why? And only thing I'd reached a boiling point. I made so many bad choices and so many poor decisions. I was under the influence, even though that doesn't excuse my behavior. I was under the influence of drugs and alcohol that throughout that day I was using. And the pain, I guess, of me realizing that I was finna lose the best thing that happened to me, because Felicia was the best thing that happened to me. She was a good person. I loved her. And the idea of her being with another man, the pain of knowing that, combined with all the letdowns and the disappointments in the past, it just came to a head that night.
Yeah, you stated that someone told you she was with another man. Who was that person?
Gregory did, sir.
Gregory? That's the child?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, all right. The child told you that. All right, I have no more questions.
Okay, panel ready to vote?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Tillis, you will vote first.
Mr. Broussard, I read through it and you really, I believe you are remorseful. And I believe you've changed your life. I really do. And I hope you continue to do the better things to better yourself. But at this time, I just don't feel you've served enough time for the crime that you've done. And I'm sorry to say my vote's going to be to deny.
I do want to say, this is what I read, that, he has a rather lengthy criminal, history, that it consists of drug charges, robbery, theft, and arson. These crimes were committed in Florida, Louisiana, South Carolina, and Texas. So perhaps they don't meet violent, just criminal history. So I did want to correct myself there. So, based upon his extensive criminal history, and I don't believe he has served enough time, and the brutal, premeditated nature of the crime against two individuals, I'm gonna vote, to deny.
Okay, as you can see, you already have 2 votes to deny. I just want to tell you, Mr. Broussard, that you're doing a terrific job there. And I really do think that the time is the factor here. You know, it's not even half yet. When you get, when we get closer, if you keep doing what you're doing, and I know this is very disappointing, but I just want you to keep your head up. It's not the end of time, but today you have been denied. My vote is also to deny. So good luck to you, sir. We're signing off at Louisiana State at 11:54. Thank y'all for hosting us today, Rochelle.
Thank you.